Can you feel the weight of this moment already? Picture this, Amber Torres, a 33-year-old former Marine Corps combat medic, sitting quietly in her favorite truck stop diner on the outskirts of her small Tennessee town. Every Sunday, she starts her day the same way, the comfort of routine. At 33, she's built a life around simple habits that embrace the prosthetic leg she's worn since that fateful day in 2010 when an IED in Iraq stole her right leg. 8 years of military service. Can you imagine? They earned her a Purple Heart, multiple commendations, and a wooden crutch she still prefers over sleek, modern alternatives. It has character, she'd say with a faint smile on the rare occasions anyone dared to ask. What a woman. We're going to dive into acts of compassion that brighten the darkest days. So, what really happened? And if you think stories like this, raw, real, and powerful, deserve to continue, share your perspective and hit that subscribe button now to help us spread the word. Amber now teaches part-time as a teacher's assistant at the local high school, a quiet hero among teenagers who respect her steady presence, though few know the depths of her story. She lives alone with her service dog, Max, a gentle German shepherd who senses her pain days before she'll even whisper it to herself. Oh, Max, you loyal soul. This particular Sunday morning, Amber wore her faded Marine Corps jacket, the combat medical support insignia still clinging proudly to the sleeve. She settled into her regular window seat, her sanctuary, and ordered her usual, eggs over easy, wheat toast, black coffee. Simple, strong, just like her. Max curled up under the table, ever watchful, his warm brown eyes scanning the room. The diner buzzed softly, half full with regulars who offered polite nods but never pried into her solitude. That peace shattered when 4 bikers burst through the door, leather vests dripping with patches, tattoos sprawling across muscled arms. They claimed the table across from Amber, their boisterous laughter filling the air like a storm rolling in. One of them nudged his buddy, his gaze locking onto Amber's crutch propped against the table. "Check out G.I. Jane over there," he bellowed, loud enough to turn heads. "Playing dress-up in that military jacket," another snorted, his voice dripping with mockery. "You can buy those patches at any army surplus store, $10 a pop." The group erupted, their laughter a cruel symphony. Amber kept her eyes glued to her plate, her knife slicing her eggs into precise, tiny sections. Her jaw tightened. Did they even notice? She gave no sign she'd heard their taunts, but oh, how her heart must have ached. The largest biker, a bearded giant with "Freedom" tattooed across his knuckles, swaggered over to her table. He leaned down, too close, invading her space. "Hey, Sergeant," he sneered, his eyes narrowing on her empty pant leg. "Where'd you leave your leg, huh? Or is that just for your social media posts?" Can you believe the nerve of this guy? The diner fell silent. Silverware froze mid-clink. Conversations died mid-word. The waitress behind the counter stood motionless, coffee pot hovering over an empty cup. No one spoke. No one stepped up. How could they just sit there? Amber lowered her gaze, her hands gripping her crutch so tightly her knuckles turned white, but she stayed silent, stoic, unshaken. Have you ever seen good people treated so poorly? Type "so unfair" if your blood's boiling right now. She left her breakfast half-eaten, such a shame. With quiet dignity, she slipped twice her usual tip under her coffee cup, a silent nod to years of serving without recognition. Using practiced grace, she positioned her crutch and rose. Her prosthetic leg, tucked beneath her jeans, let out a soft mechanical hum as she shifted her weight. She limped toward the exit, the bikers' laughter chasing her like a pack of wolves. "Run away, fake hero," one jeered as the door swung shut behind her. Fake hero? Oh, if they only knew. In a corner booth, an elderly man leaned toward his waitress, his weathered face etched with the lines of a soldier from another time. "That young woman, her name's Amber Torres," he said softly, his voice carrying the weight of memory. "I recognize her from the Veterans Association newsletter. She pulled men out of burning Humvees in Fallujah. The waitress glanced toward the door, her indifference melting into concern. Really? I thought she might be homeless or something. The old veteran shook his head, watching through the window as Amber navigated the icy parking lot with care. That's the problem with heroes, he murmured. They rarely look like what you expect. Isn't that the truth? Back at her small bungalow on the edge of town, Amber settled at her desk, Max resting his head on her real foot, a comforting anchor. She opened her laptop and poured herself into her petition to expand mental health services for female veterans. Her 14th draft. Can you imagine the frustration? Each previous version had vanished into administrative limbo, unanswered, unnoticed. On her desk sat a framed photograph, faded by sunlight, capturing a younger Amber carrying a wounded soldier across her shoulders. Her uniform was dark with blood, not hers. That soldier was Lieutenant Nathaniel Cole, now Colonel Cole, though she had no clue of his current rank or whereabouts. She never spoke of that rescue. Why would she? It was her duty, not a trophy. She had no idea Cole remembered her vividly, the medic who defied orders to retreat, charging into gunfire to drag him to safety after a sniper's bullet shattered his hip. By sheer chance, the elderly man at the diner had served with Cole decades ago. After witnessing the biker's cruelty, he'd snapped a photo and sent it to the State Veterans Association group chat. The story exploded across military networks. Within hours, Amber's image, caught on the diner's security camera, spread online with a caption, "The woman mocked today once saved a colonel's life." Comments poured in from veterans nationwide. "I know her, Torres was legendary in the medical corps. She carried my buddy a mile under fire at Romani. Who were those bikers? They need to learn some respect." Oh, the power of truth. Amber, oblivious to her sudden fame, carried on with her evening, physical therapy exercises, grading student papers, and scratching Max's ears while watching cooking show reruns to calm her restless mind. Her phone stayed silent. Her petition sat unsent. Tomorrow, she'd face Monday, limping into the classroom where teens occasionally stared but never asked the questions she wouldn't answer. But wait, 2 minutes after she left the diner, something incredible happened. The door swung open, and a tall man in a crisp military uniform strode in. His eyes swept the room, searching. He approached the waitress. "Excuse me, ma'am, did a woman with a wooden crutch just leave?" She nodded, pointing. "She's gone, but you might catch her in the parking lot." He bolted outside, boots crunching on gravel, and spotted Amber just as she reached her car. "Ms. Torres," he called. She turned, startled. Who was this? The man stood at attention and saluted her with perfect military precision, sharp, respectful, breathtaking. "Ma'am, it's an honor to meet you. I'm Colonel Nathaniel Cole. You saved my life in Iraq." Amber's eyes widened. Could it be? I don't know what to say," she stammered, her voice a trembling whisper. "You don't have to say anything," he replied, his tone warm and steady. "I've been searching for you for years to thank you. When I heard what happened here today, I had to come." His gaze flicked toward the diner, hardening. "Those men had no right to mock you. You're a hero, Miss Torres, a true warrior." Tears stung her eyes. For the first time in years, she felt seen, truly seen. "Thank you, sir," she whispered, emotion cracking her voice. The colonel smiled, saluting her again. "No, thank you, Amber. For everything." As he walked away, the bikers inside sat dumbfounded, their laughter silenced by the weight of his respect. The elderly veteran grinned quietly, justice served. That night, Amber sat at her desk, Max by her side, replaying the colonel's words. She'd hidden her pain for so long, but that salute. It shattered her walls. She grabbed her phone and dialed the Veterans Association. Help, she'd ask for it. The next day, the story raced through town. People who'd ignored her now nodded with respect. The bikers slunk away, ashamed. Her students begged to hear her tales. She belonged, finally. Amber Torres wasn't just a veteran with a prosthetic leg. She was a hero, a survivor, a teacher, a friend. I'm not just a soldier, she thought, I'm a warrior. Type I'm outraged if you think her courage deserves every honor. Imagine sitting down for a quiet breakfast, thinking it's just another ordinary day. Little did Amber Torres know, that simple meal was about to unravel her carefully guarded world. Oh, how fate loves a twist. What she didn't realize was that her peaceful Sunday was setting off a chain of events that would shatter her anonymity in the most breathtaking way. Have you ever misjudged someone, only to be proven so wrong it stings? Type I was wrong if you've been there, because Amber's story will hit you hard. 2 days later, Amber marched back into that truck stop diner, her heart pounding with a mix of dread and defiance. She'd left her wallet behind, slipped between the booth cushions in her rush to flee the sting of mockery. Could she have sent someone else to grab it? Sure, but Amber wasn't about to let anyone chase her off for good, no way. Pride burned in her chest as she pushed through the door, and the diner fell into a hush that felt like the calm before a storm. Conversation stumbled, then stopped. Every eye locked onto her. The same group of bikers lounged at their usual table, their laughter dying fast when they spotted her. The biggest one, the loudmouth who'd swaggered over to taunt her before, smirked and tossed out, back to apologize to us. Oh, the nerve. Amber didn't flinch. She didn't owe them a word. With every ounce of strength she could muster, she straightened up, her hand trembling just a bit on her crutch, and limped toward her seat like a warrior reclaiming her ground. Around her, sneaky hands reached for phones, ready to capture whatever drama was about to explode. Can you feel the tension? It was so thick you could choke on it. Everyone held their breath, waiting for the spark to ignite. Then, ding, the bell above the door sang out again, and in walked a man who changed everything. A Marine Corps colonel in full dress uniform stepped inside, his cover tilted just so, his every move sharp as a blade. That silver eagle on his shoulders gleamed like a beacon, and his chest, covered in ribbons, a purple heart, a bronze star with valor device, the works. Every veteran in the room snapped to attention in their souls, even the civilians felt the weight of his presence. Conversations didn't just fade, they vanished as he scanned the diner with quiet, unshakable authority. Who was this guy? He didn't hesitate. He marched straight to Amber, stopping exactly 3 feet away, and, oh, what a moment, snapped to attention with a salute so perfect it could have been carved from stone. Sergeant Torres, he said, his voice ringing through the silence, thank you for June 18, 2010. I'm alive because of you. Can you even imagine? Colonel Nathaniel Cole, the very lieutenant from the faded photo Amber once clutched, stood there, honoring her after all these years. She'd hauled him to safety in Iraq, and now here he was, saluting her until she, overwhelmed and instinct kicking in, returned it with tears in her eyes. The diner froze, time itself seemed to hold its breath. The bikers? Stunned. One dropped his fork, and it clattered like a gunshot in the stillness. Cole turned to those bikers, his face not raging but fierce with purpose. Gentlemen, I suggest you stay quiet, he commanded, and who'd dare argue? This woman tied tourniquets on men with no legs left while her own was smashed beyond saving. He reached into his pocket, slowly, deliberately, and set a small box on Amber's table. Inside, a duplicate of his own purple heart. I've been searching for you for nearly a decade, he told her, voice softening. Your name changed after marriage, threw me off your trail. I'm divorced now, Amber whispered, her first words in that diner that day, fragile but firm. I know, Cole nodded. I'm leading a program at Walter Reed for combat vets. We need warriors like you, someone who gets what it's like to rebuild from the ashes. Oh, the weight of that offer. As he turned to go, he locked eyes with the diner owner. Every place like this should have her picture up, not for fame, but to remind folks how to act around unsung heroes. The owner's eyes shimmered with tears as he promised, "Yes, sir. We'll do it." With one last salute, Cole left, and Amber stood taller than she had in years, his purple heart shining beside her wallet like a badge of her truth. "Wow." The big biker stood up then, his bravado gone, replaced by a sheepish shuffle. "Ma'am," he mumbled, "I didn't know." "Few people do," Amber cut in, soft but steady. "That's the whole point. Ever had someone help you and you never got to say thanks? Type, I owe a debt, because Amber's grace in that moment is a debt we all owe." A week later, a photo graced the diner's wall, Amber reading to kids, her crutch leaning nearby, a brass plaque beneath it proclaiming, "Kindness wears no badges but carries more weight than any title." Her school donated it, though she only agreed reluctantly. Reporters begged for interviews, but she shut them down, posting just one line online, "I don't need defenders. Just stop mocking people like me." Chills, right? Back at her teaching job, Amber started something new, a group called Quiet Bravery. Female vets gathered in the high school library after hours, sharing stories without fear. Word spread, and the circle grew. Those bikers? They never showed their faces again. But others came, vets who sat at Amber's table, leaving challenge coins under their cups like silent prayers of respect. Colonel Cole didn't give up either. Every month, a letter arrived, offering that Walter Reed job. She tucked each one into a folder labeled, "Someday," not ready to dive back into a world that held both her triumph and her pain. But Amber wasn't done fighting. She sent a petition for better mental health support, this time with her full record and a note that hit like a punch, "Some scars don't show, but all deserve healing." Days later, a real call came, not some generic reply, but the Veterans Affairs Director setting up a meeting. "I'll live with kindness," she told them, "if you believe every good soul deserves to be remembered." Isn't that a vow worth keeping? Not every uniform gets respect, Amber's story proves it. Heroes who saved lives can still face jeers in a diner. But someone like Cole always steps up eventually. Honor doesn't need a crowd cheering, just one salute can say it all. Next time you see someone who looks weak, ask yourself, what's their story? That woman with a crutch might have carried soldiers through hell. That shaky-handed man might have defused bombs that'd wipe out a platoon. Amber Torres's story hits me like a freight train, raw, unfiltered, and so damn heavy I can barely breathe. A woman who dragged soldiers from burning wreckage, lost her leg, and still gets mocked over eggs and coffee. It's infuriating. I'm outraged. How dare we let this happen? Veterans like her aren't just heroes, they're the backbone of courage we romanticize but rarely honor. That moment when Colonel Cole saluted her. It's a gut punch of justice, a rare glimmer of what should be normal. Her quiet grace in the face of cruelty tears me apart. She didn't need to scream her worth, she just needed someone to see it. And when he did, I felt it in my bones. But this isn't just a tearjerker, it's a screaming wake-up call. Society's failing veterans, especially women like Amber, and it's shameful. Her petition for mental health support rotting in some desk drawer. That's not neglect, it's betrayal. We cheer, support our troops, until they're home, broken, and inconvenient, then we turn away. It's disgusting. And our obsession with loud, perfect heroes. It blinds us to the real ones, the ones limping through diners, leaning on crutches that whisper survival. Amber's not weak, she's a titan, and we're too shallow to notice. I'm done with empty gestures. Kindness isn't a bumper sticker, it's action. We owe her, owe all vets, real respect, not just a salute when the cameras roll. Her story demands we look harder, listen closer, and fight for those we've ignored. Next time I see someone struggling, I'll think of Amber and ask, what's their battle? Because behind every scar is a warrior, and I'll be damned if they face it alone. Our vets, especially the wounded ones, carry double loads, the scars you see and the ones society ignores. Parades fade, flags get packed away, and what's left? Kindness, or a silence that shames us all. So, when you spot someone struggling, disabled, old, beaten down by life, think of Amber Torres. Behind every scar is a fight to survive, and sometimes, a courage so deep it demands respect, not ridicule. Forget her tale, and history goes mute. Kindness is still here, like a porch light in the dark. Who are your unsung heroes? Share their names below, let their light shine. Subscribe and join us in advocating for justice, kindness, and the unsung heroes who light the way.